So, because of popular demand, I decided to do the Teal Swan versus Bentinho Massaro video in English, which is not necessarily about those two. Those two represent bottom-up teachers and top-down teachers. Teal Swan is a excellent bottom-up teacher. She meets people where they're at, and then she gives them tools and full attention, listens to them, full empathy for their process, for their negative emotions, for the pain of their inner child. And then she helps them go through these emotions, go deep into the emotions, then go through the emotions, and then accomplish healing, forgiveness, completion, and change in perspective or change in beliefs. She also did develop the completion process, which is an excellent process, and it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. She's a genius. She will be considered a genius for the next couple 100 years, just because of the work she put out there. And Bentinho Massaro is a example for a top-down teacher, meaning he represents a certain frequency, a certain enlightenment, a certain wisdom. He holds that frequency, and people can attune to his frequency, practice devotion, and have a humble and not stubborn attitude, and then learn from his wisdom and stuff. So in myself, there was for years a debate, which is the better approach, which is the better teacher. And like I said, those are just examples for those types of teachers. Do I do the work of Byron Katie? Do I do shadow work? Do I do psychotherapy? Do I go into my pain and then reprogram myself to be more confident, more self-loving? Or do I use top-down teachings like enlightenment teachings and follow your excitement and stuff? And I came to the conclusion for myself, and I'm not saying this is the only truth, and there are for sure a lot of people who would be exceptions to that rule, but for me it looks like this. If you are very much in pain and you're very much in suffering and you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, you need a bottom-up teacher to guide you through this. Find new hope, find change, find your excitement, understand your psyche, understand your past, use empathy on yourself, and it works very well. Like, I can really say that Teal Swan's techniques, tools, and psychological understandings are extremely great. But, and this is basically the point of this video, if I already had a couple of realizations and I have a lot of tools under my belt in terms of maybe understanding the emotional guidance system, maybe realizing at least in part the I am, being good at meditation or whatever, I would say find a good top-down teacher, like for example Bentinho Massaro, whose channel I can also put a link in the description, and be devotional to him. And there's not really that much more that you need. Why go all the time into your pain? Why psychoanalyze your inner child all the time. It is interesting, and Bentinho Massaro actually says, talks about the 80-20 approach, meaning 20% of the time actually go into your pain, look at your stuff, but 80% of the time follow your excitement, follow your calling, do I am meditations or other meditations, and sometimes even ignore your stuff, bypass your stuff, you know. No need to be 50% or more of the time in your pain. And it also doesn't work like that. You can't be in your pain all the time. You can't do shadow work all the time. Like I said, there are maybe exceptions to that rule, but for most people that's just too dark, you know. And it's not what life is about. Life is about living your life. And if you see light at the end of the tunnel, if you have a certain confidence, if you have at least glimpses of your calling, then it's probably more beneficial and more exciting and more fun and more enjoyable to go for that. That's why, for example, as an example for myself, instead of doing another Byron Katie worksheet, where I did maybe over 10,000 of those, and try to find out how certain patterns of self-hatred stem from or whatever, which is also interesting, I just decided to make this video. It's fun, it's exciting, it at least potentially could help somebody. And if I feel shitty about it, I don't necessarily need to do shadow work on that shitty feeling. I can just use the emotional guidance system and trust and have faith and will and power through the negative emotional phase of or whatever. And then I don't necessarily need to psychoanalyze my inner child. But also compassion for the inner child is good. But whatever, that was the point. I guess you get it. So if you feel very shitty, you know, Teal Swan is an amazing teacher. Or if you're really very, very interested in psychoanalysis or understanding relationship patterns and stuff like that. But if you feel pretty confident and stuff, then I would really recommend a top-down teacher like Bentinho Massaro. See you in the next video.